Today, I will be talking about labor law and the recent changes that have happened since November 2025 when there were four codes which have got introduced. The first code is on the wages, the second code is on the industrial relationship, the third code is on the social security of the workers, and the number four is the occupational safety, health, and working conditions of the workers. Now let us take up each code one at a time and see what are the major changes under each code. The first code, that is on the wages, earlier it was for specified organizations only. Now it is applicable to all kinds of organizations. That's the first major change. A new concept has been introduced which is called the floor wages. This is a bare minimum wage that is recommended by the central government. Every state can declare their minimum wages, but it cannot go below the floor wages. A significant change has come about in gender equality. Gender equality has become part of the law. It is applicable both for wages as well as recruitment process. Equal Remuneration Act 1976, which has now been replaced by this new law. Deductions that can be made from wages have now been capped at 50%. The earlier law allowed claims for wages up to a period of 2 years, but now this has been increased to 3 years. So from a period of 6 months to 3 years, any worker's claim can be filed. Inspector's role was earlier only for compliances, but now this role has been extended to include not only compliances but also as a facilitator. So they are supposed to help the employers for the compliance of the various labor laws. The earlier law did not include the supervisors who were getting higher remuneration, but the new law now states that even supervisors who are getting a remuneration up to 18,000 will be included in the benefits of this labor law. The new law has introduced fixed term employment. This would mean that even the part-time workers will get the same remuneration as a permanent staff, but on a pro rata basis. The new law now requires that in case the workers are going on strike, they have to give a 14 days notice. There was no such notice which was stipulated earlier except for the public utility services. In respect of layoffs or closures declared by the employers, if the number of workers is more than 300, then prior permission of the government has to be taken. Aggregators are required to contribute 1 to 2% of their turnover to fund social security. The rule for gratuity earlier was that any person will have to work for 5 years in order to be eligible for gratuity. But now this limit of 5 years have been removed. Now any fixed term employee is also entitled to get gratuity. As per the new law, Aadhaar is the valid document for registration as well as for all benefits. Earlier, multifarious documents were accepted as a proof of identity, but now it has been specified that Aadhaar will be the document. The earlier law required multiple registration for one establishment under various labor law acts. Now, one license and one return for one establishment has been prescribed under the new law. A worker had to work for 240 days to earn his annual leave in the earlier law. Now the law says that if he works for 180 days or more, he becomes entitled to annual leave. In the earlier law, women had restrictions of working in certain places and in night shifts. In the present law, there is no restriction. With safety measures, they are allowed to work in night shifts and for all establishments. In the present law, migrant workers are entitled to a journey allowance, which was not there in the earlier law. These are some of the highlights of the important changes that have been brought in the labor law. If you have any queries, you are free to write to me in my email ID. Thank you.